First up, our first reader was born on May 8th, making her a Taurus. It's the bull. The one with the bull, you know what I'm talking about, and she doesn't give much weight to astrology, but she does note that this is typical of a Taurus who is ruled by Venus. Those born on May 8th are not at all reticent about expressing their ideas and concerns. They are outspoken, forceful, and opinionated, tending to verbal statements, but often adept with the written word as well. See, she can write. Advice for those born on May 8th. Brighten up a bit. Learn to be more playful. Temper your sarcasm and come down off your throne. The book said it, not me. Please join me in welcoming Elena Brokaw.
All right, well, yeah, I don't know how to follow that, so, but apparently I have to. I like to think of myself more as like Ferdinand the Bull. You know, it takes a lot to get me to the point where I get really excited, but when I do, there's definite ferocity there. For today, I'm just going to start reading. I have no introduction for this, so here it goes. Los papeles, the papers. Mom, what is all of this? The coffee table had been covered with little terracotta pots, wooden utensils, and all sorts of other household items woven from traditional Mayan textiles, napkins, pot holders, bookmarks, and bags. But her carry-on seemed to have a different memento. The coffee table had now aged yellow papers and folders, a stack of identical-looking envelopes with blue stamps, and red handwriting I didn't recognize. A growing pile of black and white pictures and what looked like 20 small, clear bags of photo negatives. I didn't want to lose these on the flight, mija. I carried them back on my lap all the way from Guate. Do you think the negativos are okay? I had to take them through security. Yeah, they should be fine. The x-ray wouldn't have hurt them. Mom, what is all of this? Mi papeles. While we were growing up, my mom liked to tell us about the papers she had left behind, her papeles, with mi tía Maria for safekeeping when we came to the United States, and that someday she would go back for them. Whenever she talked about these papeles, their size would fluctuate. Sometimes they would be one file or suitcase, other times they would be vast enough to fill an entire closet. I had secretly thought that they were probably old phone bills or junk mail that she had imagined into something greater throughout the years. The growing pile of photos, files, and plastic didn't look anything like the junk I expected. I could smell the years of dust and anticipation coming from the papers and photos in front of me. My breath caught and I bit my lip to keep from crying as my eyes rested on the picture she had just placed on the top of the file. It was a well-weathered black and white portrait of my father. His curly afro, just like my sister's, his broad nose just like mine, and his dark, mischievous eyes, the same as my son's, his namesake, Ramiro Garcia, Kitse. I gently picked up the pictures, and the creases of the photograph gave way under my fingers. It was a photo I had seen many times before. It was the one that's usually used during any official commemoration of his death. At the 25-year anniversary in 2005, the Garcia side of the family had made T-shirts with his picture on the front and the words, Nunca olvidamos Ramiro Garcia, December 19th, 1952 to September 15th, 1980. There had been a tribute for him and all the other staff and students that had been assassinated by the death squads during the Guatemalan Civil War. Esta foto, the one your sister carried after he died, lo dejó, but I kept it. I kept the black and white portrait, laminated, frayed, creased. I feel my sister's dimpled fingers. 3 decades pass. I picture her holding on to his face. How long did she carry it? Quien sabe, it was a long time ago, mija. When did she stop? Your Tío Victor was reading in a chair hidden by an open newspaper. All she could see was his hair, colocho como tu papá. She called to him. When he moved the paper out of the way, it scared her. I had heard stories of how close my sister was to my father many times, but hadn't realized how difficult it would have been for her to lose him at such a young age, how hard it would have been for my mom to explain to my sister that her papa was gone. My thoughts automatically went to my own son sleeping upstairs, and I wondered if I would have the strength necessary to help him mourn if my husband, his father, was suddenly taken from us. My mom's voice never once wavered as she spoke, but a tear formed in her eyes as she looked at the photo in my hand, undoubtedly reliving the heartache she felt watching my sister's first taste of cruelty. I wondered how she managed to keep a hold of so much pain and still take care of us at such a young age, a widow at 26, all the while being watched by the government for any sign that she too would have to disappear. The stories I'd heard growing up didn't mention my father as a person. He was a curated myth, polished and preserved without a trace, as told by my uncle about my father when they were both boys. The neighborhood boys play marbles in the street, drawing circles in the forgiving dirt, knuckles down. The big boys eliminate the smaller ones, tournament style, playing for keeps, blasting out cat eyes, bowlers, peewees, and bumbos. If Ramiro was behind, I was to tell him that Mama was looking for him. Gave him time to get more marbles, but also quit if it got real bad. If Ramiro was ahead, I was to tell him Papa was looking for him. Papa was a hard man. No one would blame my brother for grabbing his winnings and vanishing. Or as my mom was fond of reliving, as told by my mom about my dad on their first meeting. I heard the door, I opened the door, and I thought I saw a monster. He was so tall and so hairy. But the artifacts in front of me were of a real man, a man that I desperately wanted to know. I think you should look at this, mija. My mom opened the folder she was still holding and brought out a few sheets of paper. They were legal-sized copies that bore the ornate seal of Guatemala on the top left corner, as told by Form J470935. The underscored medical examiner number 2603 certifies September 15th, National Hospital performed autopsy. Ramiro Antonio Garcia Jimenez, finding hypovolemic shock and cranial fractures due to projectiles from a firearm. His death in triplicate.